In this video, we'll be looking at the inverse kinematics of 2R planar manipulator. This is part of a video series on robo analysis based online competition, whose details are shown in this particular slide. So before we start off with the inverse kinematics, so in the previous videos we had looked at an overview of forward and inverse kinematics of planar serial manipulator. Then we had done the forward kinematics of a 2R planar manipulator and the MATLAB program. So those of you who are new to MATLAB, I would urge you to go through this particular video. And thereafter, forward kinematics of 3R planar manipulator and the MATLAB implementation was demonstrated along with the animation. Okay, now we'll start with 2R planar manipulator. Very briefly, let me just draw it and show it to you what exactly is 2R planar manipulator. So we do have a grounded link, and there is one link like this, and similarly there is another link in this fashion. So towards the end we have some kind of gripper which can be used to hold an object or move something. Okay, so this is link number 0, this is link number 1 and link number 2. And how do we do the angle measurement? So basically we are considering the relative angle. So this angle of rotation about this revolute joint we'll consider as theta 1. Similarly, there is another revolute joint or rotational joint, and the angle the link makes with respect to the previous link direction. Okay, so this we'll call it as say theta 2, theta 1 and theta 2. This is using the DH parameter convention. Those of you who are not aware, I would request you to go through the other set of videos where DH parameters have been explained. Now this particular point, let us call it as a P, which has some coordinates x and y. Now those x and y are calculated with respect to a coordinate frame that is attached here, say xy coordinate frame, and x and y are basically, like if I project this point P, so this distance is the x, or we can call it as px. Similarly, the vertical distance is py. Okay, now the links have a particular dimension. We call this dimension, let's say a1, as the length of this link. Similarly, from here till the end we'll call it as say a2. So all those have already been covered in the forward kinematics video. So those of you who have not gone through it, this is just a short summary of what we had done. So the px and py, the coordinates, can be written in terms of a1 theta 1, a2 theta 2. Okay, so px can be written as a1 into cos of theta 1. So this c theta is basically cos of theta 1 plus a2 into cos of theta 1 plus theta 2. Okay, you can derive using trigonometry, you will get the same expression. Similarly, py can be written as a1 into sine of theta 1 plus a2 into sine of theta 1 plus theta 2. So let me call this equation 1 and this is equation 2. Px and py have been written. So what is inverse kinematics? For given t, that is px and py, determine theta 1 and theta 2. Okay, so that is what is inverse kinematics. So forward kinematics was if theta 1 and theta 2 are known to you, what is px and py? That is something we have already covered. So now let's look at inverse kinematics. Okay, so typically the mathematics has been explained, but let's look at the geometric understanding. Okay, let's assume we have to solve inverse kinematics. How do we proceed ahead? So I have a reference frame xy, and we need to reach a particular point P, which has coordinate Px and Py. It's the same thing. Whatever is there at the top, I'm trying to do it in geometric sense so that it is easier for us to understand. Okay. Now we have a robot, a 2R planar manipulator whose length are given to us, A1 and A2 length of links are given. So that means you already have a robot whose dimensions are fixed. So they are like fixed, not changing. Okay. Now we want to reach this point P, and we know that the first length is A1 and the second length is A2. What we can try to do is I can get the end of this link, first link. Okay. Where all can the end go? The end of the link will always go along a circle. Okay. Because I can assume it as one link like this. So the revolute joint is here, so the tip is always going to trace a circle. So this is trace of end of link number 1. Okay, so it is always going to be on the circle. Similarly, now let's look at from the other point, because we know that our end point has to reach here. So what we can possibly do now is we can also have another circle drawn like this, which is centered at the point P. So this is trace of start point of link number 2. Okay, so that is what it is. So this is trace of end of link 1, this is trace of start point of link 2, that is this point, start point of link 2. Okay, now obviously for the mechanism or for the robot to exist, these points should coincide. So where do they coincide? There is a possibility at this location that it can coincide, or there is a possibility at this location that it can coincide. Okay, so depending on, so basically like you have two solutions for links to be drawn. Okay, so what are the two solutions? I can connect the first link like this, and I can then connect the second link like this. Okay, so the angle that this makes, let me call it as theta 1, first solution, and the angle the second link make, let me call it theta 2, first solution. Okay, Roman number 1. Similarly, the second solution, another solution also will be able to go there. So that is like this. So please remember this length will be A1, this will also be A1 because it is radius of the first circle. Similarly, the second circle, this will be A2, this will be A2 because that is what is the radius, right? So this is like radius A2 centered at P. So that is what is the circle. Okay. Now this particular point obviously will also reach to the same point. So what we can do is we can measure again this angle. I'll call it as theta 1, second solution. Now the theta 2 is important. I extend this line and the angle has to be measured counterclockwise with respect to the extension like this. Please remember, this is very important. I can't just rotate from here. we'll have to extend the line, and then from there we have to take counterclockwise, CCW, or anti-clockwise. The angle we have here will be theta 2 and second solution. Okay, so we have looked at geometrically how we can find out the angles. If I give you a drawing sheet, if you have a compass or any CAD software, you will be able to get these solutions. Obviously geometric method is fine, but we'll now look at analytical method on getting the same expressions. Okay, this may take a while, so I don't mind having a longer video, because this is the basis for the next set of examples. Okay, so let me just okay, so let me try to come up with a simpler setup similar to our first diagram, a1 a2 theta 1 theta 2. It's the same thing, it's just that I need one more time to draw. So this is p x py. So we already have the expression px is equal to a1 cos theta 1 plus a2 cos of theta 1 plus theta 2. Let me call it again as equation 1. Py is equal to a1 sin theta 1 plus a2 sin of theta 1 plus theta 2. So this is equation number 2. Now the unknowns are appearing as function of sine and cos. Okay, so technically basically you have two equations, first equation, second equation, and there are two unknowns, theta 1 and theta 2. These are the unknowns. Okay, so two equations, two unknowns, you can solve. Geometrically we have seen how it can be done, but analytically if you want to do, you will not be able to use linear algebra concept like this, ax is equal to b, if you have a coefficient matrix, then unknown vector, and then constant vector. So if it is a regular system, you can do this, a inverse into b, you will get the unknowns. Here, since the unknowns are appearing in sine and cos, we mention these as transcendental equation. Okay, so whenever we have transcendental equation, this is not possible. We can't use this method because sine and cos are coupled with the unknowns. So we will have to manipulate means juggling. We'll do some uh, jugglery, right? Like magicians, we can also try. Okay, now if you observe, there is this theta 1 term and theta 2 term, right? So we'll try to expand these, and we'll see if one of the angles can be, we need to get rid of one of the angles. Okay, so for that what do? We'll just have let's see how can we get rid of one of the angles. Maybe we can squaring and adding these two equations, square and add equations 1 and 2. Okay, so when we do it, we may end up with some simplification. Let us try to do that. So equation number 1, when we square it, what do we get? Left hand side will be px square is equal to a1 square cos square of theta 1 plus a2 square cos square of theta 1 plus theta 2 and plus 2a1 a2 cos of theta 1 into cos of theta 1 plus theta 2. Okay, so this is equation 1. Similarly, second equation will write py square is equal to a1 square sine square theta 1 plus a2 square sine square of theta 1 plus theta 2 plus 2a1 a2 sine theta 1 into sine of theta 1 plus theta 2. Okay, now let me try to do further simplification. We are going to add. Okay, so what do we do? Px square plus py square is equal to, now please observe, so there is a cos term, sine term. So when I add these two, it will become a1 square common cos square theta 1 plus sine square theta 1. So this will become a1 square, these two when we add. Similarly, a2 square, so cos square of theta 1 plus theta 2, you can assume it's some number, right? So it could be like b or beta. Theta 1 plus theta 2, if you assume as beta, it will become a2 square cos square beta plus a2 square sine square beta. A2 square is common, so that will be there here. Now this particular part, you can see that there is some common factors. 2a1 a2 are common, so 2a1 a2, I'll take it as common. Now this is appearing as if it is cos of a cos of b and sine of a and sine of b. Okay, so if you remember, cos of a plus b is cos a cos b minus sine a sine b. Okay, similarly cos of a minus b will become reverse. Sorry, yeah, it will be here. So this is what is shown here. We have a1 a2 is common, cos a cos b plus sine a sine b. So cos a cos b plus sine a sine b, when we have, it will be cos of a minus b. Okay, so I'm going to have cos of, what is a? You can take either of them. So I'll take the second one as a. Theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 2 minus theta 1, a minus b. Okay, so this is what we have here. So let me write px square plus py square is equal to a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos of, this will get cancelled, so theta 2 cos theta 2. Okay, now this is where it is. Now next step is important. What are the unknowns? Unknown is only this term, everything else is given to us, right? So we can definitely write cos theta 2 as, you shift these on the other side, px square plus py square minus a1 square minus a2 square, you are shifting on the left side, divided by the 2a1 a2 term, divided by 2a1 a2. Now some of you may want to get rid of, see, if you want to find theta 2, you can do a cos inverse of this whole term, right? So if I have cos theta 2 is equal to some beta term, theta 2 will be what? Cos inverse of beta, right? But the problem here, or the danger here, is we don't know which quadrant this theta 2 is lying. Okay, so if you get a positive answer, so the theta 2 could be in the first quadrant or fourth quadrant. If you get a negative answer here, so it could be in the second quadrant or third quadrant. We are not sure which one it is. So obviously there are two possible solutions, right? So whatever angle you get, you will get two solutions. So those two solutions will get it using a slightly different method now. Okay. Now this cos theta 2 term, I'll save it in some unknown known as C2. Okay, C2 is cos theta 2 corresponding to that. So I'll also now define something known as S2, which will be sine of theta 2. How do we get the sine theta? Square root of 1 minus C2 square, or 1 minus cos square theta square root, because cos square theta 2 plus sine square theta 2 equal to 1. So that is what we have done. Sine square theta 2 is equal to 1 minus cos square theta 2. So under root will come if you want to find sine theta 2. Okay. So that means there are two expressions here. There is one expression with positive, or there is another expression with negative. Okay. Now the next step is, if we want to find the value of theta 2, we can use a tan of S2 upon C2. Okay, so that is nothing but sine theta 2 by cos theta 2 is tan theta 2. So that is what is a tan, or we can also call it as tan inverse of y by x. We can, but we will not. Why? Again, this is related to this ASTC rule. So if I have tan inverse of negative upon negative, it will become tan inverse of positive, because negative on negative will become positive. So we'll not know which quadrant. Okay, so that means I can have a point here, or I can have a point here. So here both the terms are negative and negative, so you will get a positive answer. If I have a point here, both are positive here, positive over no positives, it is still positive, we don't know. Similarly, if I have a point here or a point here, we don't know whether it is negative or, like, basically negative on positive is also negative, positive on negative is also negative. So we'll not come to know. So again, we'll not use this method. Instead, what do we use? We are going to use something known as a tan 2 function, which will take two parameters. The first parameter will be corresponding to the sine term, and the second parameter will be corresponding to the cos term, y and x, sine and cos. So this is there in MATLAB, C#, and all other Fortran, etc., etc. This function is available. So it gives correct angle. So we'll have to definitely use this theta 2 term to get a tan 2. Okay. Now considering whether you are using S2, so basically we'll have two solutions now. The first set of theta 2 will be a tan 2, and here you can have S2 1, S2 2. That means considering positive and negative. So whenever we consider positive, so we'll have S2 1 here and cos theta. So this is the first one of the solution. First solution. Similarly, the second solution for theta 2 will be a tan 2 S2 2. So this S2 will have second value and will pass the same cos 2, because cos 2 anyway it is just 1. So this is the second solution for theta 2 values. Okay, so this is just half, not even half. This is, we have just crossed 30%. So obviously this video will take much longer, so please bear with me. Okay. Now what was the earlier set? we had a1, a2, px, py, and we had theta 1, theta 2. These were the unknowns. So these a1, a2, px, py were given to us. Theta 2 has been determined in the previous step here. Now ultimately there is only theta 1 which is unknown. We have to find the value of theta 1. Okay, how do we do it? Again, we'll have to go through the initial set of equations. So let me just cut this because we are going to use them again. So these are the first set of equations we have. Now again we'll have to do some manipulation. Okay, obviously people have already done it, so I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I'll give you the steps of doing some manipulation. So what is the manipulation? Multiply equation 1 with let me see, we'll have to write in terms of cos theta 1. Okay, let us take it further first. Let me just get rid of it because this requires some manipulation. As I said, it takes a while, and in the textbooks typically they'll just give you directly what needs to be done. So here we are trying to understand why it is done. Okay, so the equation 1, let me rewrite it. Px is equal to a1 cos theta 1. We'll expand this second term, a2 into cos of a plus b. Okay, cos of a plus b is cos theta 1 cos theta 2 minus a2 sin theta 1 sin theta 2. So let me rewrite that again because we want to segregate theta 1 and theta 2 terms. So here I'll try to combine cos theta 1 into a1 plus a2 into cos theta 2, a2 into cos of theta 2. Some manipulation again. This will write as it is, minus a2 sin theta 1 sin theta 2. This is still equation 1, or let me call it as 1a, because 1 and 1a are same. We have just manipulated a bit. Now equation 2 is py is equal to a1 sin theta 1 plus sin of a plus b, a2 into sin of theta 1 cos theta 2 plus a2 into okay, I wrote cos here, that's fine, cos theta 2 plus a2 into cos theta 1 sin theta 2. So this we'll call it as 2a. Now someone has already tried different combinations and they have given us the steps. What is the step is equation 1a into we have to multiply equation 1a with a2 sin theta 2. So this term a2 sin theta 2 term, a2 sin theta 2. Okay, and we have to multiply this term. Okay, this py, let me just, I'm sorry for this, let me just cut it. Yeah, it takes a while. Please don't expect that inverse kinematics is very simple. So py will also write it in terms of common. So s theta 1 will try to take out, S theta 1 is A1 plus A2 cos theta 2. A2 cos theta 2 plus this term A2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2. So this I'll mark it as 2a, not this. So this is 2a, 1, 2, 1a, 2a. Okay. So now there are some manipulation. So how do they manipulate? Equation 2a will be multiplied with this term, what you have seen here. Okay. And equation 1a will be multiplied with a2 into sin theta 2. Why they have done it? Probably they have tried different versions and this one suited. So we'll see how it works. Or maybe it is related to the geometric derivation also. It could be. Okay. So what I'll have is equation 2a into a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 minus equation 1a into this term a2 sin theta 2, a2 sin theta 2. Okay, this is one of the manipulation. We'll do it and we'll come to know what happens. So 2a is here. I'll have to multiply with this term. So let me write it like this: py into the LHS also will be multiplied by a1 plus a2 cos theta 2. On the right hand side also we'll have to multiply with this term, is equal to sin theta 1 into the whole square, basically a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 whole square, because it is multiplied, plus the second term here a2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2 into this term, that is a1 plus a2 cos theta 2. That is what we have done for the first expression. And the second expression will be 1a into this. Okay, so let me write it here. 1a equation is this one. So on the left side we have px, which is multiplied by a2 sin theta 2, a2 sin theta 2 is equal to, on the right side we have this big expression into a2 sin theta 2, that is cos theta 1 into a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 into a2 sin theta 2, this term, minus this guy. So basically it will become minus s theta 1, and a2 s theta 2 is common, so it will become a2 square sine square theta 2. Okay, now this expression has to be subtracted. Okay, so what do we have? This will come as it is. Please note that all these values are already given to us. The theta 2 is also determined in the previous step. So theta 1 values are not known to us, so we'll have to find. And obviously it is mixed with theta 2, theta 1 terms, so we'll not be able to eliminate without using some manipulation. That is what we are trying to do now. Okay, now when you do this manipulation, let me try to do it as much as possible because I'll be using few shortcuts here, but I would request you to do one step at a time. Okay, py a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 minus px into a2 sin theta 2 is equal to, this is LHS. Now the RHS will have sin theta 1 into a1 square, this term, plus a2 square cos square theta 2 plus within bracket 2a1 a2 2a1 a2 cos theta 2. It's a quadratic expansion, binary, sorry, yeah, quadratic. Now plus this term I can segregate, plus a1 a2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2, this term, plus a2 square cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 1 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 2, sorry, sin theta 2. Okay, so the upper term is done. Now the lower term, now in the lower term, we'll again have to expand it. Okay, so there's a negative term here because we are subtracting it, so I'll write minus outside. A1 into A2 into cos theta 1 sin theta 2 minus A1 A2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2 plus, sorry, minus the next term a2 square minus a2 square cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 2 cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 2. Now some of you may be wondering, there are already similar terms appearing somewhere else. We'll just probably they will get cancelled out. Let's see. So this term is done. Now minus of minus will become positive. So plus a2 square sin theta 1 and sin square theta 2. Okay, now what do we have? We seem to have some similarities. Let's try to get rid of elements that get cancelled out. a1 a2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2, a1 a2 cos theta 1 sin theta 2, one is positive, one is negative, so this will get cancelled. a2 square cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 2, similarly a2 square cos theta 1 cos theta 2 sin theta 2, so these will also get cancelled. Okay, so what are we left with? On the LHS we have this term, and on the RHS we have sin theta 1 common. Okay, so let me put it this way: py into a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 minus px into a2 sin theta 2 will be equal to, we'll try to take sin theta 1 common, sin theta 1 is common, so we have a1 square plus, so this term a2 square cos square theta 2, and we have, if I take sin theta 1 common, a2 square sin square theta 2 is also here, cos square theta 2 plus sin square theta 2 equal to 1, and hence this term will become a2 square. Please try it out. Okay, it will not come so easily. You should try out these two terms, plus this is anyway there common inside, 2a1 a2 cos theta 2. Okay, now eventually we have reached a situation where the sin theta 1 term will be this whole thing divided by what you have on the right side. Okay, so I can get it as sin theta 1 is equal to py into a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 minus px into a2 sin theta 2 divided by the whole term, this term, a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos of theta 2. So obviously we have sine theta 1 term here, and this sine theta 1 term is dependent on which value of theta 2 you take. For theta 2 first solution, when we do, we'll get theta 1, sorry, yeah, we'll get sine of that angle. Similarly for theta 2 second, we'll have sine theta 1 first, and similarly sine theta 1 second. So there are two possible solutions available. Okay, now once we do this manipulation, we have found the value of sine theta 1. Similar to the earlier case, what we can do is no, let's not do that, because again we'll have two set of solutions, then we'll have to do a lot of other manipulation. So what do we do here again is, we have found the value of sine theta 1, so we'll do another manipulation. Okay, now what is that manipulation? We have equation 1a and 2a. We'll just change the way these are multiplied, right? And instead of subtracting, we'll just add those equation. So 2a into a2 sine theta 2 plus 1a into a1 plus a2 cos theta 2. So what is the manipulation? Equation 2a into a2 sine theta 2 plus equation 1a into equation a1 plus a2 cos theta 2. Okay, so we'll have to do this manipulation, and once we do it, obviously I'll just write down the expression here, because it's again similar procedure what we have done. So we'll have cos theta 1 term appearing as px into this term a1 plus a2 cos theta 2 plus py into this a2 sine theta 2 terms. It looks similar actually. Only thing is we are swapping, and negative becomes positive, and the denominator is same in both the case, a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos theta 2. So we get whatever we have here, we can consider this as some S1 parameter. What we have here, we can consider this as C1 parameter. Now finally, to get the value of theta 1, we'll again use the a tan 2 function, which will have the sine term and the cos term. Sine term S1 and the cos term C1. Okay, so that is how we get theta 1 angle. So if we have a point here, technically what has happened is, we'll get first theta 2, so that means we'll reach here. So one of the angle is this theta 2 first solution, so the other angle also we would have got as theta 2 second solution. This is what we will get first. Based on which one you take, you will be finding out this angle. So this will become theta 1 first solution, and the other one will become, from here till there, this will become theta 1 second solution. So technically you will have two sets. One is a solid set. Okay, so this will usually call elbow down, like our elbow down and elbow up. The blue one, whenever we take those, we'll call it as elbow up. So I kin of 2R has two solutions, two sets of solutions. Now one word of caution here is, when we find the value of cos theta 1, or rather cos theta 2, okay, now this C2 value, the magnitude of C2 should be less than or equal to 1, because cos value can't be more than 1. Okay, if magnitude of C2 is greater than 1, solution does not exist. Okay, so this is a test we should keep somewhere in our formulation. If C2 is more than 1, that means it is not a valid point. So what it also means is, if I have my coordinate frame and my A1 and A2 are small, right, and I can't reach this point Px Py, if I give value of Px Py much more than say A1 A2 combination, you will not get C2 value less than 1. It will be more than 1. You can try it out. So that means this is outside reachable workspace. Okay, so in the next video we'll be trying to implement the MATLAB code for these formulation, and further we'll be extending the same 2R manipulator with respect to another link, so we'll call it as 3R manipulator. So we are going to do those in the coming videos. Thank you.